Hi friends, in this video I am going to show you how to upload a Excel file data into database. For this I am going to use Spring Boot and Apache POI. Let's get started. For that I am going to create a new Spring Boot project, and my Spring Boot project name is Excel file upload, and here I am going to use Maven and the Java version 8 packaging as jar, and the language I am going to use Java. And my group ID is com.excel.app, and my artifact ID is Excel file upload. Version is 0.0.1 snapshot. Description which I provided here, and the package com.excel.app. Then I'm going to click on the next button. Here I'm going to use a Spring Boot version as 2.2.1, and for that to create our application needs, I'm going to use the dependencies is Oracle driver, JDBC, sorry, JPA dependency and web dependency. After that, I'm going to click on the finish button. The project will take some time to download. It depends upon the internet speed. Uh, our project get downloaded. Firstly, we will see pom.xml file. In our pom.xml, our Spring Boot project is downloaded with the help of these parent tags, and our application group ID is com.excel.app, artifact ID is Excel file upload, and the version 0.0.1 snapshot, and the name of our application is Excel file upload, and the description is inside the description tags. Here 1.8 is our Java version, and the dependencies which we choose is Spring Data JPA and web dependency, along with that Oracle driver. Oracle driver is OJDBC 8 version. Firstly, we will see application.properties. In application.properties, I am going to add some of the properties belongs to database. Uh, Data says URL. The URL is jdbc colon username, and some more properties from JPA. I'm going to use the DDL auto. I want to update, and JPA properties. Some of the JPA properties like Hibernate dialect, Oracle dialect. I'm going to use, and now I'm going to create a new package. Firstly, we will see the main method class. And this is our main method class. The class name is Excel file upload application, and this is annotated with a Spring Boot application. And now I want to create a new package. Inside that package I am going to create a new class. Firstly I want to save my data inside the database. uh, I want to save employee data. For that I'm going to create a model class which is nothing but an entity class. And this class contains some fields. Actually employee contains some fields. uh, for that I'm going to create an id field, emp number. I need employee name, and I need salary of an employee. For these fields I'm going to create setters and getters. And for these fields I want constructor with fields. To our model class I want to add an annotation called entity, because to make this as entity class, the entity is coming from javax.persistence package, and I want to add a table annotation. This is also from javax.persistence package, and here I want to name our table, Oracle table, as emp underscore table. And I want to generate this id field as primary key, so that I will maintain this as id. That is also from javax.persistence package. And I want to generate the values the help of some strategy. I'm going to use auto, and I will maintain the column names as is. And now I want to create an interface for our repository, and I will maintain separate package for that. The package is repository repo, and I will create a new interface, employee repo, and that has to extend with JPA repository, which is coming from org Spring Framework data JPA repository. And then click on finish. Here as a generics I want to pass our entity class name, employee is our entity, and in our entity class the id field is integer, so that I am going to use here type as integer. Now I want to create one more package which is going to interact with the repository layer, that is service. This all the service classes I am going to use inside service package, uh, and the class name is employee service. And this class I want to annotate with at the rate of service annotation. which is coming from stereotypes org.springframework.stereo package. And one more, I want to add a field which is employee repository, and I will auto void this. From here, with in the employee service, I want to save my employee data inside database. That means I want to save the Excel file data inside the database. For that, I am going to create a public method, and the name of the method is save employee, which takes multi-part file. We will come back to this method in a meanwhile. I will create a controller. For controller, I will maintain a different package called controller, or we can call a resource also. Here I am going to create employee controller class. I will annotate this class with rest controller annotation. I will create a field which is an employee service, and after that I will auto while this field. I will create a method, and here I want to send response entity, which takes and generic arguments. I will explain you this after some time. Firstly, I want to save an employee data inside database. For that, I am going to create a method uh, which takes an argument of multi-part file, and this is request param. I will name this with file, and this is a post request, so that I am going to use post mapping, and my URL is upload. From here I am going to call method present inside the employee service, and I will send the file, and after that firstly I will return null, once the file is going to save, we need to convert a list of employees into employees object. I mean, whatever the data present inside the employee Excel file. For example, here we had a file called employee details which contains of some fields, employee ID, employee name, and the salary fields. All these data I want to save inside database. Uh, for that, here we had a list of employees. Firstly, I need to convert these file into a Java object. For that, I am going to use Apache Py. Uh, so let's open the pom.xml file and add the dependency. And our dependency is coming from our Maven repository. And friends, this is my YouTube channel, Start Coding with Karim. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to use Maven MVN repository, or we can use Maven repository. From here, I'm going to use Apache Py. Here I'm going to choose Apache Py from Py XML. I'm going to use the version 4.1.2. Let's copy this and paste inside our pom.xml file. Let's format the code. Save this. Our jar get downloaded. No, what I need to do is I need to convert a list these records, whatever the data present inside this Excel file. I need to convert this into list of employees, because here it contains 4 employees. These 4 employees I need to save inside database. For that, I'm going to use py for converting these Excel file data into our Java object. So I will create a separate util class which is nothing but a helper class. I will name it with a util, and I will maintain this class name as Excel helper. Here in this class, I will maintain all the methods as static. Firstly, when we got a Excel file data, I will check first it contains proper. Friends, here what I'm trying to tell is, firstly, when the request comes to this method, the multi-parted file, with the help of this multi-parted file, I want to check the content type of the file. For that, I'm going to write a separate method inside Excel helper. The method is Boolean method is Excel format, in which it takes multi-part file. Firstly, I will return false. I will check the content type here. For that, I'm going to create a field called public static string, and the type is, I will maintain a content type. Sorry. And my content type is this. This is my content type. I want to check this with I want to use file dot get content type. Sorry. Content type. If the content type matches with this type, then it returns true, or else it returns false. Firstly, I will check the content type. The content type is, I will call that helper Excel helper dot is Excel format, which takes file. If this method returns a true, then I need to call the save method present in the employee service. If this method executes, this method returns true, then I want to call the service method save employee, which is present in the employee service. Assume that if the methods return true, then this if condition is going to execute, and it calls the save method present inside employee service. And here I got the file data. Whatever the file data I got, whatever the file data present inside the Excel file, I need to convert this into list of employees, because here it contains number of employees. If we observe here, we had 4 different employees with 4 different employee IDs. These fields I need to save inside database. For that, I am going to take the help of Excel helper. In the Excel helper, I am going to open the Excel sheet, and with the help of that Excel helper, I am going to read Excel file data, and I will convert that Excel file data into list of objects, and that list of objects I will save inside database. First, go to Excel helper, create, let's format the code. In the Excel helper, I am going to create a public method which returns a list of employees. I will name this method as Excel to employees, and this method is also take input stream as an argument. Firstly, here I want to return a list of employees. For that, I'm going to create an object for a list of employees, and I will return the empty employees object. Yeah. Now I'm going to use all the Apache POI packages to write the code from here, because I'm going to open the Excel sheet, and inside Excel sheet we had different sheets like a sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. I'm going to use one by one, and for that I'm going to use an object called workbook, an object called workbook from org apache POE SS user model. I'm going to use an argument constructor with the input stream. We had an book, and here firstly I will close the book object. This throws an IO exception, so that I'm going to throw the exception to the caller, and with the help of workbook object I'm going to call get sheet method, which takes an argument of sheet name, and here I am going to create a new field called sheet name. This is our sheet name. I will rename it and copy, and here I am going to pass that sheet name. This sheet will return sheet object. For that I am going to use sheet object is also coming from ss dot user model. If you observe here, a sheet contains number of rows. For that I want to iterate each and every row. For that I am going to use a sheet dot iterate method. Iterate method, which will return iteration of rows. Iterator, which takes an argument of row, and a row object from ss.users model, which is rows. First, at present, we got all these rows. I need to iterate one by one. For that, I'm going to use while loop. Here in the while loop, row dot has next method. Sorry, not rows. From rows, I will call next method to get one row. This I will name it current row. Now I want to get from the current row, I want to get cells. So again I will iterate. From current row I want to get cell by cell. I will use a iterate method which returns iterator object from util package. Cell is from ss.user model. This object returns an iteration of cells. From this again I will create a while loop and I will get each and every cell I will get each and every cell by using next method. This next method will returns the cell object. This cell object is from ss package and this is current cell. From this current cell I want to store this current cell in the domain object, which is nothing but in our employee object. First I will create an employee object. I don't want the fields argument constructor. I will create a new constructor. Save it. From the current cell, whatever the value I got, I want to save inside employee domain object. For that, what I am going to do is I will create a switch. I will maintain a switch ID here. Uh, let's call cell ID. Cell ID starts from 0, which is an integer variable. I will use here cell ID. If the case for case 0, what I will do is whatever the data present inside the current cell object, I will save that the data inside employee. So first set employee number. That employee number is coming from current cell. current cell dot. Here in our employee class, this is employee number is a string, so that I am going to use get string value, string cell value, and after that I will break. And in the case 1, in the employee object, I will set the employee name. Here our employee name is a string. So from the current cell, I want to get a string cell value, and I will save that inside the employee. After that I will break. Case 2, employee dot set, I want to set a salary from the current cell. Current cell dot get numeric cell value. I will do break. And the default case is empty. When the switch completed, there I want to increment the cell ID. And when all these 3 cases get executed, I mean, first it gets the employee ID. For the employee ID, it will execute the case 0. For employee name, it will execute case 1. For employee salary, it will execute case 2. After completing all these 3 cases, I will save this inside list of employees object. I mean, I will add this to the employees object, list of employees object. Employees dot add method, which takes of an employees. Yeah. And if we observe here in the first row, we are getting employee ID, employee name, employee salary. These row we need to eliminate. For that, I'm going to use a new row number field with 0 value. After getting the row, first I will retrieve the first row. If the first row is headings, in our Excel sheet it contains some headers, right? So that if it contains headers, I need to remove those headers. I mean, I don't want to add those to the employee object. For that, I am going to use some condition row number. When row number equals to 0, I want to increment that. I want to increment that row number, and I will continue. When the row number is 0, it increases the row number. That means the row number increases to 1 and it continues. When it comes to continuous, again it comes to the while loop, start getting the next row. After that, now at present our row number is 1. so that the if condition won't be executed. It comes to the iteration of 42 line number, and then it continues. So let's save the object class. So let's go to the employee controller. First it checks the XML format. If this Excel format is true, then it is going to employees save method present in the employee service. And here what we are doing is we are going to call the employee Excel helper, and here I want to call the Excel to employee. This method takes an argument of input stream, so that from the file I will call get input stream. This method throws an exception I will handle here. And if you observe here, this method is returning the list of employees. I will catch the data here. I will have a list of employees here. I will maintain a reference as employees, and after that, with the help of employee repo, I will call a save method which is present inside a JPA repository, and I will call save all method, and with this I will save all employee data inside database. And in the employee controller, after this execution, employee save. When the employee saves, I want to return a new object, response entity, and this body is first main. I will create a separate class for that. First I will set the status with the help of http status dot okr. We can use create. And I will create a new separate response message. For that, firstly I will use this, and string object, will use file dot get original file name. I will concat with that string, and I will return that. And whatever the data I saved, I want to retrieve those data in the form of JSON format. For that, what I will do is I will create a new method inside this employee service, which is a public method which returns a list of employees, get all employees. And here, with the help of employee repo, I will call a find all method which returns a list of employees, and this method I will call inside employee controller. For that I am going to create a new private method with a response entity of a list of employees. I will name it this method with get all employees. Just I will return a new object with a response entity object which takes a list of employees, and here I will call the employee get all employees method present in employee service. For that I am going to use employee service dot get all employees method, and I will use http status dot ok, and I will maintain this with get mapping. I will use get slash I will use get forward slash all slash emp. With this get mapping I will retrieve all the employees. Now let's run our application. Before that it is better to debug the code. I will keep a debug point in the employee controller, and I will maintain a one more debug point here. So let's start. If we had any errors, we will solve those. Yeah, our application started execution. We had an error. Let's solve that. Yeah, we had an error with a dialect. We had made a small mistake in the application dot properties. Let's solve that. Inside in the resources folder in application dot properties, I had made here some error. Org dot hibernated dot dialect I didn't maintain. The package I made some mistake. Now let's start the application in the debug mode. Application started. It is going to use the dialect. The error solved and started the Excel file upload application. Our JVM is started. Now clear the console. Go to the employee controller. Inside our employee controller, before that let's open the Postman tool. I will upload these fields. I will change these employee IDs to 2020, 21, 2020, 22, 2020, 23, and I will show you the result. Yeah, our request is upload, right? And the port number is 8080, and the request is post mapping. Okay. Here I want to send the multi-part file, so that I'm going to choose a post request, and our request is http localhost, port number is 8080, and the request is upload. Inside, go to the body and choose the form data, and in the form data choose file and choose the file here. uh, Whatever the name you pass here and choose the file here, and I am going to choose the file from the desktop. My data is employee details file. Open it and let's make a request. Request came, and step into the helper class and check what is the content type we got. The content type, whatever the content type we mentioned, and whatever the content type we got at runtime is almost same, I think so. Check the if condition, control shift I, and the condition gets true. So let's go inside the if condition and go to the controller class. Our condition is true, so it is going to call save employee method, which is present in the employee service. So step inside employee service save method, and now I am going to pass input stream to this excel to employee, which is present in the employee helper class. Step inside this class. Yeah, now let's see that the execution. Book object get created, and the sheet name is sheet 1, which we hard coded. We got sheet object also. A sheet, if you observe here, sheet contains rows, which contains the data here with the different values in the XML format. And we had rows. I want to iterate each one, and after getting the each cell, I want to store those data inside employee object. That employee object, again I need to add it to the list of employees. After adding all the records, I need to send back it to the employee service. From employee service, I want to save it to the database. So let's observe it. For the first time, employee ID, employee name, and employee salary is our headers, so that I don't want to store those things inside database. For that, I created a row number equals to 0. When row number equals to 0, I need to increment the row number. Let's do that. First check that these rows contains any data or not. It has some data, so let's go inside that. At the beginning our row number is 0, right? So it is going to execute the row number, because row number is 0. Now it is going to increment 1. After incrementing this row number, it is going to continue. Again it comes to the while loop. When it comes to the while loop, from the it comes to it retrieves the second row data, current row. If we observe here, it contains, yeah, if we observe here, we had a content type also here. All these values are coming in the Excel format. Let's move forward. This line, after executing this line, we will get each cell value. Here we had a list of cells. We will check each and every value after storing inside the employee data object. Cell ID. Yeah. Now let's check the employee object. If we observe here, an employee object contains with employee number first. Employee name is null and the salary is null. For the case 0, an employee number is going to employee number data is going to store inside the employee object. For that we got employee emp 202012 and break. Here I am going to increase the cell ID. Further, after increasing the cell ID, it retrieves the another cell value here, and now it execute the cell ID is now 1, so that it is going to execute the case 1. If we observe here, current cell get string value, we had a Kareem as value. Now let's move forward. Yeah, now let's see an object of an employee again. Okay, let's move again. An employee of employee create another new object is created. In the list of employees object, already one object get created. If we observe here, our salary is 1000, employee number is emp 202012, employee name is Kareem. So let's check the Excel sheet data. Employee number is emp 202012, employee name 20,000 is employee salary here, the same which we got. So let's run the application. Yes, I closed the book object and I am going to return it back to the caller and move to the next line and observe here we had 4 employees. One is emp 202012, second is emp 202013, third emp 202014, fourth is emp 202015. Whatever the data present inside the Excel sheet we got, and now I want to save these inside the database. So click on the run. Excel data saved. File name is whatever the file name we given, that file name we will have here. That is with the help of file.get original name, file name, and the status is 200. Okay, and now I want to check whether all these details present inside the database or not. So for that I'm going to call this API and I'm going to make a request. Yeah. Actually, friends, what I had done is here previous data is also coming. So eliminate that. Firstly, I will remove in the application dot properties. I will stop the application, and in the application dot properties, instead of DDL auto update, I will maintain create, and now I will run the application. In the Excel file, I am going to change the employee numbers to 20, 20, 20, 21, 22, 23. Save the file and let's upload the file again. Server started. Yeah, server started. Let's go to the post request. This is our request and choose the file, employee details file, open and click on the send button. Sorry. We had some issue, I think so. Let's resolve that. Stop the application again. Let's run the application. Tomcat server started with the 8080 port number and the application is also started. Clear the console. Better debug the code because we have some issue. We got some issue. Let's see the issue. Meanwhile, I will make a request to this employee controller object with this API get slash all slash employees. We had an empty list object with a response entity 200. Okay. I will make a new request and I will upload the data with the help of Excel sheet. Localhost 8080 is our port number and upload is our API, and inside the body I am going to choose form data, and here form data inside I will choose file, and I will use the request param name as file. Choose file. I'm going to choose employee details. I will open that. I will make a request. If we observe here, Excel data saved file name is employee details.xml. Again, I want to change this. I will change these employee numbers, and I will show all the previous and the present data which we uploaded. I am going to choose a new file which is changed previously, and I'm going to make a request. Sorry, here I'm getting an issue with the file name. So before that, save it properly and close the request. I will make a new request for that. http local host 8080 slash upload. Go to body, and here choose file and pass the param name. After that, choose the file. Make a request. If we observe here, we had an issue with this Excel file. For that, what I will do is I had some more file. I will upload that. I will choose the file. The file name is data. I had made some mistake here. Choose the previous file employee details. Open this and make a request. Again, saved. Our data is saved. And after that, I will use this file also. Make a request. We had some error. If I Because the content present in the cells is differ from previous and now. So let's try the data by calling get all employees. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, because we had posted this file for two times. One by changing the employee by without changing the employees numbers 20 20 20 20 20 21 20 20 22 20 20 23, and here emp2 emp21 emp20 202 and 20 20 20 20 20. If you want, you can make a request again and again. That's all, friends. That's all for this video. If you like the video, please click on the like button, and please make sure to subscribe to Start Coding with Karim.